Greetings, Andy here again, and this is my regular roundup of new releases that I bought during the previous month. So obviously in this case these are April releases. So we're a few days into May, a bit later than I really intended, but it's been a bit manic with some of the other stuff that I'm involved with. So I grow veg. And I'm in the process of moving a lot of what I do from an external allotment, which I've decided to give up on, into my back garden. And that's really been the priority for the last week or two, with the weather as it is and the timing. If anyone is vaguely interested in that, I'll post a link to just a quick whiz around I do now and then for just for family and friends, but just on the vague chance somebody is actually interested in growing veg, I'll do that. Also, I'm going through 5 new release records here, but also at the end, and I won't dwell on them, just a quick whiz through another 5 records, record store day ones, which I picked up in the sort of after sale online, so I won't dwell on those. But let's get cracking on the April releases, and the first is by Black Country New Road, and their 3rd release album, which is called Forever How Long. Now this version of it is quite unusual, this sort of monochrome blue. It's the indie store exclusive version, apparently. So most of the ones you might see are sort of red and yellow and things. But anyway, this is as I say, the 3rd album, but it's the first without Isaac Wood. So Isaac Wood was really the leader, the lyricist, the singer, the front man, and he left literally on the sort of eve of the release of the previous album, Ants From Up Here, which was a fabulous album, claiming sort of mental health. He just couldn't cope any longer. So the band have continued without him, and it's very, his distinctive style. And basically they've parked all of those early songs and completely started again. The band is a 6-piece. It used to be 7-piece, and it's now three girls and 3 boys. And effectively, the 3 girls have taken on both the sort of the lead in turn, sometimes together, but usually one or other of them, writing the lyrics for a song and also the vocals for it. They've got vaguely similar voices, but you can begin to tell them apart. And those girls are Tyler Hyde, who's the bassist and is also the daughter of Carl Hyde of Underworld, Georgia Ellery, who plays violin, and May Kershaw, keyboards, piano mostly. So it's given them a very different sound, not musically, because really the music which the whole band contribute to is their trademark. It is like the previous records, but the vocals and the vocal style just are very different. Not worse, just different. They're really hard to pin down genre-wise. So there's some prog in there, ish. Their early stuff was described as post-rock, which I don't really, just occasionally. A little, maybe they're art rock, or sometimes described as experimental. They're not exactly similar to anybody else, to be honest. This record is, I've really enjoyed it. It's got it's a 4-side, double, obviously, and there are 11 tracks on it, so it's a sort of shortish double, but no etching, thankfully. And it is, and there's also a nice booklet which came with it, with all the lyrics and stuff, which is handy, and also tells you who's written the lyrics in this handy singing. It's described as eco jazz blue, and it's actually said transparent, and it's not remotely, but somewhat bizarrely. I presume the eco means it's been, recycled vinyl, but they're slightly different shades of blue, so don't know what that means. Anyway. Anyway, moving on. My second record is the fifth release by Bon Iver. Or Bon Iver. The proper name is Justin Vernon, who hails from Wisconsin, famously. And this is the first one I've got of his on vinyl, though I've got most of I've got three of the others on CD. And I have to say, this is his debut, which was for Emma Forever. Was absolutely fabulous, but he sort of changed style a little bit during the intervening period. But he's much more pared this back. It's much closer to that early one and better for it, I think. This is certainly, to me, I'd say his second best. I think his debut is still cracking, which I think he recorded in a cabin somewhere in the wilds of Wisconsin. If there are wilds of Wisconsin, and it's an unusual record. It's a double, but sort of not. I mean, time wise, it could have easily been put on a single. I think it's like a 40-minute album, but it actually consists of. It's called. I have to say what it's called. You can't see it all on here because it's sort of like Sable, Fable. And the Sable bit, which has 3 tracks on it, very short one and then 2 full ones, is a 12-inch single, effectively. It's a 45 RPM, and appropriately, it's in black. And then the full LP is called Fable, and there you can see, you can actually read it. There is writing for the other bits, but it's sort of like in the same colour as the background, and that's that sort of same salmon pink. Let me pull it out. That's the same as that, and that's a full one. And I say it's pared back, but the opening, the single, the Sable, is more pared back than Fable, the LP. It's just it's just really the first one's absolutely beautiful, very like for Emma Forever. It's a lot of it is just him and his guitar, whereas as it moves into the main LP, the tracks become fuller, though still not, they're still very, very gentle. But occasionally one track, which one is it? I think it's the opener short story, it is actually quite poppy in parts. And there's one track where the vocals, he's using a vocoder. Not badly. I'm not a lover of vocoder, but it's not too bad. It's Everything Is Peaceful, Love is the poppy one. I've written it down. As I say, I really like Bon Iver, and I'm a bit of a closet folky, so that's very good. I
can't rest on no dynasty. Yeah, what is wrong with me? Man, I'm so sorry. I got the best of me.
And number 3, and this was the Rough Trade album of the month, but I probably would have bought it anyway. It's technically a debut, but it's sort of not really. And it is the Miki Berenyi trio, which they like to call themselves the MB3, and their album Tripler. Now, Miki, well, let me read the card which came with it, because if you don't know Miki Berenyi, and there they are. So it says Miki and Moose. So Moose is Kevin McKillop, who is also Miki Berenyi's partner. So it says Miki and Moose came of age during the era of shoegaze and Britpop in Lush and Moose respectively, and arrived here from Piroshka. So basically they've had a band called Piroshka more recently, which is sort of morphed into the Miki Berenyi trio. They said they came together to play a handful of lush songs whilst promoting a hugely acclaimed memoir. This album's richly layered, imaginative and uniquely slanted strain of dream pop is an often euphoric and sometimes melancholic mix of guitars and electronica, fronted by Miki's instantly recognisable vocals, and that's what it is. It's, you know, they've really gone back to that sort of 90s dream pop shoegaze style, and it's really nice. It's just how many tracks are there? Just 9 tracks on it. It's 9 tracks on that, but because it's the rough trade, there's always a bonus of some sort, and the bonus on here is a 7-inch single with 2 extra tracks. So, you know, it's I don't know whether they appear on the CD version, but it's you know, they're not demos or redubs or anything like that. They are 2 additional tracks. So, and the album is rather beautifully very resplendent in what do they call it? Some sort of splatter, green. Oh, just green and yellow splatter. So there you go. And now.
You can't see what I see. I'm gonna have to spell it out. There used to be a song for every feeling. There used to be a light bulb in the ceiling. I used to have some shoes on my feet. I used to pray for something to eat. For something to eat.
And now the next one is, I would describe as a bit of a curio, and it is by the Waterboys, aka Mike Scott, and Life, Death, and Dennis Hopper. And this is really quite unusual. It is effectively a biography of the life of Dennis, the actor and director Dennis Hopper. You know, of Easy Rider fame and obviously other films. It's, as I say, it's a biography of his life, but in song. You know, so on here, how many songs are there? It's 25 tracks across a full double, starting from effectively his birth and ending in his passing and the aftermath of that. In fact, the very last track is called Aftermath. And there's quite a few sort of guest artists on here, including, most famously, Bruce Springsteen sings on one track, Fiona Apple and Steve Earle, you know, amongst many others. And it's rather lovely. There's a sort of explanation about it all in there, and all the lyrics are on there, and it sort of, there's lots of styles going through it. So it opens up, and somewhat appropriately, because it's released on the Sun Records label. It opens up with a real country number called Kansas, which is obviously where he was born, and that is sung by Steve Earle, or features Steve Earle anyway, and you know, but it's not all. Even though that gives it a real country start, it's not that all the way through. There are some tracks which are a bit countryish. There's a whole mix, rock and roll. You know, it's got a bit of everything in here. None of it's heavy. You know, at the end of the day, it is Mike Scott. So it's as I say, it's on the Sun record label, and it is a sort of blue and what do they describe it? Blue marble vinyl, and as I say, it's a double.
Someday I'm gonna blow Kansas, someday I'm gonna blow. Don't say I didn't tell you so, Kansas, don't say I didn't tell you so. Well, I remember you, Kansas, hell, I don't even know.
So that leads me to, last but not least, it was the Fuzz Club album of the month, and it is a band I hadn't heard of before. There's the album, but you see the writing on the back is the Underground Youth, and the album is called Decollage. And here's from there they are, as you can see, not terribly youthful. So I think the Underground Youth is a bit like Sonic Youth in the sense they were once, but they're not anymore. This is one of those albums which has taken me a few listens. I wasn't sure at first. I didn't dislike it at all, but it didn't really grab me on first listen. But after 2 or 3 listens, it's really grown on me, and I'm absolutely loving it now. So it's difficult again. How do you describe it? Well, it's sort of maybe the easiest way of describing it, and I don't know whether this is right. This is just my personal view. It's a bit like psych-rock meets shoegaze. Is it a little bit trip-hoppy in places as well? Don't know. The band is led by it's two men and 2 women basically, and Craig Dyer, who hails from, I think he was born in Blackpool, and I think the band originally got together in Manchester, but they're based in Berlin now. As I say, it's a 4-piece, 2 guys and 2 girls, and one of whom is Mrs. or maybe now Frau Dyer. Craig is the lead. He's the leader basically, and the writer and the producer, and excuse me, and everything else. But he's the lead vocalist, and he has this really slow and low baritone voice, and it reminds me a little bit, just in terms of the listen, not the lyrics, obviously, a little bit Leonard Cohen in that sort of slow, but it's not. That's probably misleading. And it's that sort of getting used to that sort of low, slow, deep voice, which against the background of a little bit psyche, and then the female vocals are sort of backing vocals, and they've got that sort of little bit of dream pop style. But it works. It sounds like a bit of a mishmash. But on the 4th track, I noticed, which is called Ashes of Our Age, is the vocal style changes, and I don't know whether it's the other guy singing or whether it's just Craig Dyer has changed his voice on it, but it's almost a little bit reminiscent of David Sylvian, and an emphasis on the little bit, to be honest, but it's quite different from the other deep ones. It's higher in tone, slightly faster in there, and it's very resplendent. Oh, it's also one of these, being Fuzz Club, it's a limited number. This is 345 out of 350, and it's very resplendent. A single album, just 8 tracks actually, but they're reasonable length, in a sort of purple. Oh, they're called Purple Eco Mix, whatever that is. So
in my daughter's eyes, you were wandering.
So those are my 5 new release albums of the month. So I quickly whizzed through the 5 records I picked up. I got these in 3 goes. I was actually looking for a couple of other albums for some of them, and this first one, for example, wasn't one I was hunting down, but I thought it sounded interesting, and it is Wire, and 9/7s, recorded 1977 to 1980. Now, they passed me by in the day, so I don't have any Wire ones. So I thought this is the sort of 9/7s. Basically, it's just simply the 9 7-inch singles, A and B, that they produced in that period. So it's a double best, almost like a best of, but it's a comp. So I thought this was maybe a good way of discovering Wire. And secondly, and this was one I was looking for, and it is Yes, live at the Rainbow, London, 12. Wrong way round for a Brit. I thought 12th of the 16th, so 16th of December, I think it's meant to be, 1972. So, you know, this was recorded when they were touring Close to the Edge, and it is fabulous. It's a treble, sorry, but it's the last album is the last LP is one-sided. It's got etching on the sort of sixth side. So Siberian Cat True, I've Seen All Good People, Heart of the Sunrise, and You and I, Close to the Edge. There's a little 6.5-minute excerpts, Wakeman excerpts from Six Wives of Henry VIII, which actually I quite like. Roundabout, Yours Is No Disgrace, and Starship Trooper. If you like Yes, and particularly if you like live albums, this is epic. I've often talked about Gotan Project. So this again was one I was hunting out, and it's I call it a Gotan Project DJ set. It's called Inspiration, Espiration, and it's basically Philip Cohen Solal is one of the two. So basically, Gotan Project was a project by essentially three people. I think Philippe, a French guy, a Swiss guy, and an Argentinian guy, bringing the street orchestra. So this is, I think, the French guy, but it might be the Swiss, who's basically a DJ, remixing stuff to try, and it's really good. I like it, but I like Gotan Project, and this was another one which I was actually looking for, and because I was intrigued by it, to be honest. So Hindu Love Gods is both the name of the band and the name of the album, but Hindu Love Gods were a side project of REM, occasionally, you know, with different guests. So on this occasion, it's REM without Stipe, so it's Buck, Berry, and Mills, with Warren Zevon on vocals, and it's really, really good. It's basically covers, and there's some blues covers in there, some rock and roll. There's a whole mix of stuff in there, but it's a curio, but it's a really nice curio. And this is one I dipped back into. I wasn't going to get this, but I saw so many people who I know, I both sort of YouTubers and you know, other friends have got this and really, really liked it. So I decided to bite the bullet, and it's Passengers original soundtracks. And Passengers is basically U2 and plus Brian Eno. It came out in 1995, I think. So it's, 30 years old, what does it say? Yeah, 30th anniversary. I'm not a great lover of U2. They're okay, I don't dislike them, but I've never bought any of their stuff. Equally, Eno's ambient stuff really leaves, you know, doesn't do anything for me. And I'm not a great lover of soundtracks. But I was so, you know, I was persuaded by how much people really, really have been bigging this up. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I've only played the first LP. It only came the other day. And it's, yeah, I'm liking. I need to listen to the second LP and a few times, but it's definitely a nice record. So there are a few you know, I would have liked, but you know, they sold very, very quickly. So another time maybe. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.